Hey, look, we've made it into a 3-part video series. I think I want to call them How to Respect God, How to Respect Religion, and now How to Respect Church. Church is an incredibly important place in a community. And it's a shame that without religion, there are places that don't have the center of their community. Don't have a heart of their community. Church is where we all get together, and anyway, church is wonderful. So what kind of a church service would I love? Okay, Reverend comes up. Maybe it's more seated, like an AA type thing. Well, no, there's a lot of people. Go on, put him up there. And he says, today I want to imagine God. No, start over. Hey, folks. Today I want to imagine there are 3 gods. I don't know what their hierarchical relationship is. I know that to one God we attribute creation. To another God we attribute philosophy. And to another God we attribute maintenance. Okay, what do you guys think? Is this good for everybody? Is this a good place to start? Does anybody else think that this one might be fun? Yeah? Okay, you want to hear more? All right, so here's what I was thinking. The gods have a finite presence, but infinite knowledge. No time traveling and so on, but knowledge of the future. And they argue sometimes. All right, let's just start there, everybody. Break up into your groups. And let's start listening. Let's start listening to this triady. No, I don't have to say that. There's already a word for it. Trinity. I like triady. So let's do this. Let's start listening. Start thinking about last week. Well, actually, it's been 2 weeks now because we had to close. So think about your last 2 weeks, what you've been experiencing. Start trying to understand the members of this triady. Imagine, what does that feel like? What might their intentions for you be? What might they know that you don't know? Okay. All right, everybody, put your hand into the ear, your finger into the ear of the person next to you, and we're sharing what we're listening. Okay. All right, let's go oral, guys. Oral. So let's start sharing. I'll be walking around. I'll be listening. And then after 10 minutes, you guys can also walk around. But, let's try to mostly stay seated. But, if you want to explore hear what some other people are hearing, what kind of sense that's making for some other people, then go ahead and walk around. Oh, gosh, I would love that church. Where we're just imagining what could the world be. And also we're just playing. We're just playing. We know we have this instinct to see connections where there might not be, patterns where there might not be, meaning where there might not be, intention where there might not be, where there isn't. And so, but we have this need to see these things. Let's have a space where me and the other community members, we can all play out these ideas. What would it be like if that had meaning? What would it be like? What was this pattern What's that feel like? To just feel that in my soul, in my mind, that pattern. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. These things are related. Oh, love relating. Love relating. Love that I know my neighbors. Love that I love my neighbors. And so, here's what I think. I think that if you're religious, if you're only talking about the same version of the world day in and day out, and you're pretending to know that it is truth, even though nothing has really been revealed to you, I think you're failing God's test. I do. I think that any religious person is failing God's test. God's like, hold on. I haven't even revealed. No, that wasn't me. What? The Oscar? What? Wait, hold on. I haven't. It's only been, because, time is nothing. It's only been like 10,000 years that you're in about this state. We're not ready to talk yet. I haven't said anything. Or the everything, the soul, whatever version, whatever unity, entity, whatever. Okay. So we're being patient. I'm not failing God's test because I'm being patient. I'll trust Him to reveal herself when they are ready. When they think that I am ready. But what's really fun is to kind of pretend like you know God. To have an image. To have a more concrete relationship. I'd be going to that church every day. I guess it would get exhausting though. I don't know that I could do it every day. And then of course there would be some that would stick. And so the leader would be ready to move on to another imagining of God, of holy whatever. And you're like, did anybody else want to play a little bit more with the two-headed serpent God? With the halo? Because that spoke to me. And I actually this morning found a snake in my garden. And I was like, is the snake guy that? So I really want to riff on that if we wanted to continue. Anybody else want to continue on that? Oh yeah, hey, call me after today's service. Sweet, yeah. That really lit some things up in me. That really slapped some voices. Hell yeah. It's all just for fun. But also understanding. Looking at things from different perspectives, the world. And it's just slapping different voices. Activating different thoughts. What about this pattern? What about that pattern? Like, in one of my previous volume videos in the series, in today's Epiphany, I said that, Shit, I just completely lost my train of thought. So it's all just it's all just a bit of fun, and thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna wrap it up now, but let me just try to remember what this was, and I'm not gonna edit this. Sorry. All in the name of good fun. Be exhausting. I was talking about that earlier. Then there's some that you would kind of get stuck on that. Oh, and then at least understanding. Seeing things from these different perspectives. Slapping these different voices. Activating these different thoughts. And of course that's the best way to know the world, is to... Okay. Okay, hold on, let me go over there. In the metaphor, I would move. I would take another angle. And it's just waking up the different voices. All right. You've been patient enough. So there we go. That's what a God-respecting church would look like. And community respecting. That'd be so much fun. Who wants to do that? Let's do that. That has to exist already. Oh, okay. I'm not. But it should be more popular. So I'd love to get one going. Is that arrogant of me? So other people have been doing it already. Who are these people? All right. So if you're doing one, or if you are involved in one, in a church of the holy, but reasonable imaginings of sacred I know that text is there, but it doesn't quite work. Let's back up. It'd be the church of holy but reasonable imaginings. Reasonable because you let your imagination go absolutely wild. You maintain the knowledge that you are letting your imagination go wild. But you can let yourself go, There are people in the room to snap you out of it, maybe. They are the identifiers of Mali and the arresters of Majing. Well, you'll see that in the vocabulary video, but got one of these guys who goes, hey, I know that feels so true. I know that feels so right to you. That's singing. That's singing. You're valeting. Absolutely. So let's just review, we don't really trust the mind. Blah, blah. Okay, let's bring you back down. Okay. All right, now, fly high, but hey. And I'm here if I gotta bring you back down. All right. So that's one reason so recognized. It's not actually reasonable. Recognized. The church of humble recognition. The church of humble, recognizant imaginings of spiritual truths. That's my institution. I should have tried to think of something that would make a good acronym. But for now, that's what we're going to have. The Church of Humble, Recognizant Imaginings of Spiritual, I don't know what's in the frame. I don't know. The gestures are part of it. Of spiritual truths. That wasn't planned, but then I felt I had to do it. Thanks for sticking around. All right. And then in these churches of humble recognizance because you recognize that your brain is not a reasonable machine. So what feels true isn't necessarily true. What feels untrue isn't necessarily untrue. What sings isn't necessarily true. What shapes isn't necessarily false. And you're not very good at putting the pieces together. So you're aware of all that. You recognize that. But sometimes you gotta let the dogs play. Let the dogs out. Can't always. So anyway. So you let the dogs play. You let your imaginings go wild. With this recognition when you enter and when you leave that, I am just being a human brain and so I'm being crazy. I am humble enough to know that my brain is not this well-oiled reasoning machine that is this detector of truth. And I know I'm skipping so many steps when I say, I found truth. And I'm assuming so many things I didn't. I'm humble enough to know that, and so, and to recognize that. And also humble enough to know that if there were this God that my brain is screaming for me to believe in, that I don't understand, and I have no way to understand it. And when it's already to help me understand, share some of that wisdom with me, then cool. So that's the humble. That's the being recognizant. Imaginings. So spiritual truths. Great. Okay. Maybe there's a better S word. I don't know. Okay. So, it was not. Okay. So, stationed in this church ... would be these identifiers of Male. Sorry, we're going crazy just because we're really happy with some of these thoughts. So we're identifiers of Male. Male are the bad voices. I don't mean the voices that tell you to do something bad. I mean the bad interpretations, the bad processing mechanisms in the mind. The if this then that rules that actually should be nixed, or we could do without. But we have them because that's how we evolved. Right. So we've got all these voices. The maladaptive ones, the voice that is delivering this thing, not well adapted to the situation, not a good instinct there, it doesn't apply here. I understand why you exist, but we don't need you right now for this situation. Those Male need to be identified. We've got all these things called cognitive biases, fallacies, heuristics, illusions. Those are all these different Male. So you've got someone in the room who's able to identify Male. Of course, everybody's going to be just letting the Male run wild. But if someone sort of goes overboard, or they're able to consult this person after a service. Hey, whoa, something really touched me there. I'm starting to really kind of believe it. Can we talk about that? Because honestly, I think it's true. Here's why. The identifier listens. Okay, so you hear that voice? That voice, the way you just said there? Do you see this assumption that we actually know it's false? So the conditions, that it can't be true. There's a premise wrong there, an implied premise. Or that's actually not relevant. I know that sings, I know it feels relevant, but that's actually not even relevant. So it has no persuasive power here. And so he's able to identify those things. And he's also able to, in uttering those identifications, he's stopping the majing, which is when you age, which is when you justify. And then when you maj, it's when it's not good justifications. We always age, and most of the time it's majing. And so this identifier and arrestor is able to pause the person, get them to slow down a second, activate some of those good voices, inhibit some of those Male, and also just slow the person down so they're not running, justifying. So I need an acronym for that as well. An identifier of Male, an arrestor of majing. Okay. And then that's what we will call these consultants, these guides in the, whatever the acronym's going to be for the Church of Humble Recognizant Imaginings of Spiritual Truths. Have a good night.